over on the blue side in this game, we have Razman and Nandemann, who are Nandemann. And over on the red side, we have Seriga and Alexander, who are Steel Balalaika. And this is Hop and Glory. Are you ready, Val?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
So 3, 2, 1, go. And take us through the decks.
Right, so, I mean, I'm sure everyone's extremely surprised that Nande is using his NATO motorized deck and Razman is using his Commonwealth deck. I can only think of one game where they changed from that. I think, didn't Razman have a USSR, oh sorry, a USA deck or something, I think, in one of them. But either way, Saraga has a USSR armored deck on the red side, which is what we've seen from him very often. And ML Alexander has a USSR standard deck.
Yeah, so we got a double Soviet start again. I just love Seriga's armored deck. I think it's so cool. I absolutely love armored like gameplay in this game. I think when you see like engagements between like a BU and a Challenger 2, it's like super exciting to see like which tank comes out on top. And I always like love seeing those sort of engagements, how people like move the tanks around in order to get the advantage on their opponents. And it's very, very interesting seeing like the planes come in and try and like take them out and maybe getting shot down and so on. It's always very exciting to watch when there's a lot of tanks on the field because there's so much at stake, especially when there's a lot of points put into them. But Seriga here actually starting with his 2 TATBs again. He always brings like 2 of one tank at the start. And it looks like those are going to be heading down to golf.
It's been changing every single game, I swear. He had the 2 T80Us, the 2 T80UMs, the 2 T80Bs, like 2 T72 OBR 1989s. Like every game, I think he just changes what tank he brings on this map.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to happen in this game? We saw previously Razman and Nandemann against RKK8, they pushed for that Foxtrot sector. Do you think they will do it again?
I mean, they're gearing up to do it. They've got the same units. Again, I mean, I did mention last time, they did have try to do a few little strategies involving pushing Juliet, but I think Foxtrot is the safer push, to be honest with you. And they did it very well last game. Or last game on this map, should I say. Last game was on this one, but you know, Seriga and M. Alexander, they have, well, it looks like a lot of infantry from the start, so maybe they were speaking to Amber Team Putin, or, you know, maybe just watched a replay or something like that, to, you know, try and get a bit of insider knowledge, see about that push.
You say that, but it's Seriga's infantry, and those MTLBVs probably only have Mostrelki in them, so it's not going to be like any serious quality going into Foxtrot. There's going to be a couple of Conquer M's, I guess, and some Recon in there. And looks like some Manpads, probably some Iglas, going to be hanging out in that town. But it's not a serious amount. If they got full-blown pushed like on that, with, you know, the Hachi Nanashikis, the Vicar Mark 11s, you've got the XA180s with the Stormers. I think they have definitely a good chance of taking out those Mostrelki quite easily and getting a foothold into Foxtrot.
Well, they do. I mean, remember we saw that's 3 squads of Gavin men in the 186 NOs and 2 squads of Stormers in the XA 180s, and they are not to be messed with. There's some seriously good infantry from Norway, I believe, and if they can get into the town with that fire support, they will deal extremely well with Mostrelki.
Yeah,
very scary to be sure.
I think another thing that's going to be happening is we do have like a Challenger 2 for Razman at the bottom side of the Alpha spawn, and that's probably going to be heading towards Gulf or maybe helping to support the push into Foxtrot, and that's going to come up against these 2 T80Bs, so that engagement I'm pretty interested to see if any HGM planes on either side come out. Of course, we have seen the Su-27M come out a lot, and that has definitely a good chance of killing a Challenger 2. Is there much to defend it as well? That's the question. There is a Challenger Marksman and a Crow Tau, so it depends if that's going to be enough. If they get the recon onto that Challenger Marksman, they could just snipe that with the M and then kill the Challenger 2 afterwards.
They do, but we have seen Razman and Nande usually start with enough points reserved for a very early either block 15 or a Eurofighter. We did see one game, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually bring out some real heavy air cover to try and defend that Challenger 2, because you're right, if they lose that down in this bot side, Golf will be ripe for the picking for Serica.
Yeah, and I think Golf is going to be quite contested in this game, as both teams will have known that has been a sector that has won or lost this map quite a lot of times. I really want to see Nandemann go for this Foxtrot push again, and I want to see how Serica and Alexander really deal with that, because it was pretty unorthodox, and if they can manage to pull it off again, then we might see a better defense from Steel Balalaika this time round, and that would be really, really interesting to watch and very exciting as well.
We might do, but M. Alexander has a lot of these MIA MTVs, and they might have Garner Strelky 90s in, and if he can get them into the town left of Foxtrot, that could provide a very formidable defense against both this push through Delta to Foxtrot, and also now Challenger 2 is really going to have to watch itself if it goes straight across the field, because it might get inside shot range if it's not careful.
Yeah, that's a very good point about those Gornos. They are almost the perfect units for taking on like a motorized push into a town, because they can deal with both the fire support and the infantry reasonably well. And especially with the MIA MTV rockets, those do a lot of damage to those ground forces, and especially things like the Vickers Mark 11, which don't actually have that much armor. The 122mm rockets can do so much damage.
They can. If they can knock out these two Crotals, then this push is dead, basically. But I mean, again, it's all speculation. Until it actually happens, we won't know, because I mean, those MIA MTVs, as much as I firmly believe they'll go to the left of Foxtrot, the town there, I mean, they could always just drop in Foxtrot, or they could even try and land in Delta, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what they plan to do with them.
Yeah, this has been quite a long deployment again. I mean, the last game we had a relatively short deployment, but I think that's because both teams kind of got comfortable with what they were going to do going into that map. But coming into the first game of this best of 5 between Nandemann and Steel Balalaika, I think both teams will be definitely discussing how they're going to get the upper hand and the initiative in this first game. And it's very important, I think, in a series where you have 5 games to play, winning your first game would be like such a morale boost going forwards. And it's pretty important for them to get their foot in the door early on.
It really is. I mean, you see this in every kind of sports, esports, whatever you want to call it. If you win the first game in the best of series, that mental aspect is so important, because you play so much better in the next games, and your opponents start making more mistakes. They're under more pressure. They think, "Oh, we have to come back," and it just makes your games, the next games, so much simpler. And especially these games are played in a row as well, one after the other. So losing the first game can really be a big problem.
Yeah, and I think that's really what affected RKK when they went up against Nandemann. So I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting this series to see if both teams can really manage that aspect. Obviously, the war game esports sort of thing is not really a thing in war game. So having these players who are very good at the game go against each other in these tournaments is not seen very often. Obviously, there are quite a few tournaments, but generally, like the format changes a lot and it's not very consistent. So coming into like a best of 5 is not something you see very often, and now we see the game underway. So looks like Alexander is going to be going for this Delta push with those MI8 MTVs.
He is, which is quite interesting to see. This V is going to do a lot of damage to this Gazelle cannon, but I mean, luckily for Nande, he does have both of these Crotals with the Trap Rapier following up as behind.
Yeah, this Gazelle cannon will take out an MI2, I believe, but the main question here is, will the MI8 MTVs be able to land before the Crotals get in range? And at the moment, they're just coming to a stop. It looks like Alexander's flying them very far forwards. Why wouldn't you land on the right side of the town? It seems that that's almost a mistake that's going to allow these Crotals to get into range. Fortunately, the Crotal getting stunned there and taken out by the Mi-24P. And the second Crotal is still alive and sitting there, but the Gornostrelki have got into position. So, this is a very interesting situation for Nandemann to be in. The second Crotal did just go down, which is going to allow these MAMTVs to do a lot of damage. But we do see the multiple squads of Stormers and Gevarmen coming into the top side of Delta now, completely uncontested, although the Stormers taking a couple of rockets to the face. In the centre at Foxtrot, looks like not very much going to be going on. Not going to see the same out of Nandemann and Razman, or Nandemann and Razman. But I think honestly these Gevarmen should be able to pick off these Gornostrelkis one by one. Even the XA-180s with those M2 Brownings did just do a lot of damage to the Gornostrelki squad there, and the VulcanHDGamers providing the recon onto that one at the edge of the town. The Hachi Nanoshiiki is also providing some autocannon fire, and all of the helicopters retreating because they ran out of rocket ammunition. So I think this Delta push sort of fell flat on its face. There wasn't really much to reinforce it after it arrived.
It might have fallen flat on its face, but it also stopped the push from Nande. So, kind of inadvertently, it had a really nice effect for them of stopping the blue team actually pushing into Foxtrot.
Yeah, but how many points did they lose for that? Like
quite a lot,
yeah,
that's for sure.
Like MIA-MTVs with Gornostrelki squads, the Gornostrelkis are like 30 points apiece. The MIA-MTVs didn't go down, but I mean they invested those points into 30-point helicopters, so 60 points each.
That may be, but think about how much stuff that Nandemann lost. They lost 2 Crotals, a Track Rapier, I think all of their Vickers Mark 11s, all of their Hachi Nanoshiikis. That's still a lot of points in itself. I think the trade is probably a lot more even than it seems.
Yeah, actually that's a very good point. They did lose all those Mark 11s. So, literally, Nandemann is relying his defense on these Stormers and Gevarmen squads. Still trying to take out the last of the Gornostrelkis with the XA-180s and the VulcanHDGamers. Stormers on the edge of the town there getting hit pretty hard by the Spetsnaz group and the Mi-24, but I think their main priority is just to clean up the rest of these squads, get their hold in Delta, and then try and hold back still Balalaika, who's now arriving with some heavier units. TATB though just got side sniped by Milan 2 underneath Echo. Oh, F11C.
F11C, yeah, coming in.
Did that hit anything?
Well, nothing really important, unfortunately, in Foxtrot. We tried to bomb out some of those Motostrelki squads, but I mean, something to note in the top side is still Balalaika has been very reserved here, because instead of sending their reinforcements straight towards Delta to try and actually capture it, they're quite happy with just taking Echo, I think, and then sort of pushing up slowly.
Yeah, the Mi-24D there didn't actually get stunned initially by the Track Rapiers, and probably could have landed an HGM onto the Track Rapiers at Delta, but fortunately the Gevarmen there with those MG3s basically stunning them with the suppression effect. And in the centre, I mean, there's a sort of half-hearted push from Razman with these TH-495s and the Canadian rifles heading towards the Motostrelki. MiG-27K just going to come in and pick off another APC there, but not too much damage done. I think that was originally intended for the Challenger 2 in Gulf. And it's a bit of a standoff in Gulf, neither side really having the advantage here, although the Challenger 2 just hit that TATB very hard in the front armour.
No, it really is, and I mean, luckily for Nando, he's managed to regain a lot of Delta, but again, it's they've lost the sort of initiative that they had at the start, and Razman, you know, bless his little cotton socks, he tried to pull off a push into Foxtrot, but without all the support that he was supposed to get up from Delta, it's just not been able to really accomplish anything.
Yeah, so ideally, Nandemann's forces would have been there, but they weren't, so Nandemann was forced to defend Delta, and now there's a +2 income lead for still Balalaika, since the Command Leopard has not yet moved into Delta, as it's been cut off by those Gornostrelki and the other units moving down from Echo. So we've got 3 BMP 685s now moving up. They are going to pick off the Tracked Rapier. Did that pick off 2 Tracked Rapiers? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it did. Very
Wow,
nice.
that is a very nice move there from Serega. Yeah, he's going to lose those BMPs, but that took out a lot of the AA in the area. It's going to leave the Command Leopard open to attack. The Leopard 1's open to attack if they reveal themselves, and it's really down to just the Stormers at the moment. I would like to maybe see a Bomber come in and take those out while they
Well,
know that the AA is dead.
speaking of bombers, this F-111C coming in the top side, though I think it might miss some of these VDV.
Oh, the bombs are going to be very big though, so they did
As I say
splash.
that, they don't kill a squad,
Yeah, they did splash and kill a squad. Down at the bottom of Gulf, it looks like they did lose a Challenger 2. And a lot of the infantry has died here, which may have left the door open for Serega to make a move and completely secure Gulf. And that would be devastating for Nandemann. There is an Su-24 flying around, revealing that there is literally no AA in the area. So they have full control over Gulf in the air.
Well, it's not just no A, they have nothing in the area. They've got 2 squads of Canadian rifles, some commandos, some recce, a TH-495, and that's literally everything.
This is crazy. If we just look at like how much there is on the map for Steel Balalaika right now, it's not looking good at all for Nandemann. They still haven't secured Delta. They're still bleeding the +2 conquest, although the Leopard AS1's finally making a move down the road. And there is a few skirmishes going on down or up here at Delta, but down at Gulf, I mean, things are just getting completely overran. The Commandos 90 squad there might go down, although the stunned Mi-24V is going to prevent those Commandos 90s from dying for just a little bit longer as the Mi-8 MTVs come in with the 122mm rockets and finish things off. The recce also not going to last very long, and Gulf is now secured by Serega. So I would not be surprised to see a command come in and capture that, and that would give the +1 lead back to Steel Balalaika, since Nandemann have finally got their command tank into Delta.
Well, not just that, but with the pressure that the red team, Steel Balalaika, are exerting up in the Echo Delta area as well, yeah, it may be very feasible for them to sneak a CV into Echo as well.
Yeah, they could easily get into Echo. Were you saying Nandemann could get into Echo?
Well, I suppose both teams, but the red team at the moment, Steel Balalaika, could sneak a CV in just to get that +2 as well.
Yeah, I think they could easily get one in there behind the mountain. I didn't think they would need to sneak it necessarily, but that could definitely give them a +2 lead if they captured Echo and Gulf. I think mainly at the moment, though, they haven't brought in the command units because they want to maintain their advantage on the map in terms of like the units they have. So we'll have to wait and see if those actually do come out, but at the moment the Gorna Strelki there holding ground. We've got the MiG-27 trying to pick off the XA-180s as they approach Echo and reveal that there isn't actually much seriously defending that, and the Stormers and Leopard 1 now going to move up, and also the Volksjäger. So those two APCs literally just revealed to Nandemann there's nothing there to shoot at his forces, so he's just going to go ahead, get his recon, move up as far as he can, and take advantage of Steel Balalaika's current position. Got to be careful of this Mi-8 MTV moving around the backside of Alpha. If that actually spots the command unit in Alpha, it could get some rockets, but the Hatchin Anishiki saving the day, and that is not going to be a CV kill in Alpha today.
It's not, unfortunately, for Steel Balalaika, but I mean, Steel Balalaika, everything's going pretty well for them, but when you look at Nandemann, the problem right now isn't specifically what they've done, rather what they can't do. Because, you know, in this situation where an enemy fast pushes Delta, you have to try and defend it and retake it. But what that meant was that just completely nullified their game plan. Their entire game plan was based off that Foxtrot push. And now they've gone from having this specific plan to just trying to have to react to what Steel Balalaika has thrown at them. Because at the end of the day, the things helicopters buy you in this kind of heli drop into sector like Delta is they buy you initiative. That's one of the biggest things they give you, because you will get there. And we saw it. They got there in time to fight off and did a fantastic job of harassing everything Nandemann had.
Leopard 1 just took out a T-80.
Oh, nice.
The Leopard 1 took a shot in return, went down to 1 health, and on that 1 health managed to reply the second shot in time to kill the T-80. So that was a very nice kill The Leopard 1 there surviving just with enough armor to prevent a death. But C2 Mexuses now coming up to support a push into Gulf. We do see 3 squads of Moshroki in defense, 2 TATBs, a Razvedka squad and a Shilka. We've also got a Block 15 coming in to take out a MiG-27, but the Yak-141 and the MiG-25 PD going to respond with a kill there. MiG-27K coming in, misses both of its missiles. Challenger Marksman and Track Rapier FSA will not shoot that down as the MiG-27K does get out alive. We do see an Mi-24D though coming in to harass on the bottom side of Gulf, and the Su-24 was brought up to try and get one of those radar AA kills, but is going to get out alive as the Challenger Marksman and Rapier FSA cannot get on target. So this Mi-24 is a big threat down here, taking out those Canadian rifle squads with the help of the TATBs, and the HGMs can possibly do some damage to the C2 Mexus, but it looks like that was flying towards the M36 anyway, and the Challenger Marksman going to come in, finish off that helicopter, allow these tanks to continue their push towards Gulf.
It can do, but I think Razman is, yeah, it looks like he's getting a little skittish about this, because there is always the omnipresent danger of anti-tank planes, and if he loses that Challenger 2, that is a massive blow for him at the moment. I believe he only has 3 in his deck for the Commonwealth deck, and that would be another one dead, because he's already lost one.
Yeah, so currently we have a Eurofighter Typhoon circling at the back for Razman, and we have a Yak-141 for Saraga. I'm still not convinced about the Yak-141. I don't think it performs very well at all. And it looks like the Eurofighter and Yak-141 will clash, as the Yak-141 is going to go for the kill onto the F-111C, and it will get the kill there before the bombs are dropped. So that's devastating.
The Eurofighter coming in on the K there. That's very devastating, but the Eurofighter does reply.
Yeah, the K is going to get shot down. The Eurofighter going to get out alive. The MiG-25 PD using all of its missiles and not hitting a single one. Su-24 also going to be evac there, trying to take out that Rapier, but did not have a chance to get on target since the Rapier was microed very, very well.
I mean, it was microed well, but at the moment they're definitely on the back foot. You know, they're trying to regain a bit of ground up in the top side, but not going to last for much longer with those Meskai Pahota coming in to clear out the bottom Echo Forest, and they're just really a bit of a tough situation here. Those TATBs getting a beautiful kill on that C2 Nexus.
Yeah, but in Gulf, the M36 Sluggers there, they absolutely wrecked those Motostrokey squads, leaving there not much infantry to defend Gulf. All that's left there is those TATBs, and there is a Challenger 2 to fight those off. So it looks like Razman may be able to take back control of Gulf.
It's looking that way actually, which is very, very nice for them, but I mean, again, you've always got to remember that even if he does, that's only going to neutralise. And, I mean, it looks like Saraga is completely giving up here, because he's not brought any more reinforcements down to this bottom side. And he does have some of his units freshly spawned going into Echo, so perhaps what they want to do now is, you know, they've said, oh, we've got our points lead now, we've got our 200 points, let's just pull out of Gulf, and perhaps just focus on Echo, and if they keep it neutral, obviously they'll win, but as I say that, they do bring in some VDV-19 as BTRDs.
Yeah, if they just consolidate their forces now and make sure they defend Foxtrot, which is very undefended at the moment, and Echo, then they can definitely win out in this game, because like you said, it would neutralise the points income as opposed to giving Nandemann the lead if they were to take Gulf. But the Challenger 2 still making ground, going to take on the TATB there. And the TH495 is just continuing to advance to try and reveal if there's anything in that far tree line. Su-25T is circling, and Razman is going to have to be careful that that doesn't get a kill there. But the Challenger Marksman, you know, will have a good chance.
It's just sniped the CV down in Gulf. That is not very good at all.
Yeah, it looks like the Eurofighter Typhoon might actually manage to get a kill onto the 25T. Very, very weird evac there from Razman. His Eurofighter did not get hit once by the MiG-25 PD, and then he evac'd it when he definitely could have chased down that 25T. Maybe he was scared of AA, But for me, that sort of seemed like a bit of a panic evac when he saw the MiG-25 PD, even though he didn't even get hit by it.
Well, that's definitely true. But I mean, the game has actually swung quite a well, not quite a bit, but it has swung back to even. And Razman Nande, they do have the potential here to actually make a very nice set of plays, because Foxtrot right now is ripe for the taking, and Razman's bringing some Canadian rifles there. I think he realizes that this is what they need to do to win, because they can't just keep up this neutral points game. They won't win off this. They need to push Foxtrot.
Yeah, the TATB finally going down in Gulf, and Razman taking full control of that once again. So, I mean, it was contested. Serega took it. Now Razman owns it. Quite a lot going on in this bottom sector, and I think it was good of Steel Balalaika to recognise that that was a key point to contest early on. They are now bringing down units though, which is interesting. Alexander is bringing BTR-80A. BTR-D is probably with VDV-90. A Ural there from Serega, and another BTR-D following up. We do see some BMP-685s on the way and some OSA. So it looks like they're basically setting up to make a push into Gulf, which for me doesn't necessarily seem like a great idea. They have the 233 points over Nandemann's 4. Do they really need to force something at this point? I don't necessarily think they do.
With the stuff they've got and the stuff they're bringing in, I don't think they can take this. They have some BMP 685s and some infantry, and that's going to get mown down by that Charlie 2 if they can micro it correctly. Obviously, that MiG-27K is a threat, but again, if Razman can correctly micro that, keep it alive, then it really is just a case of...
Yeah, the Eurofighter Typhoon, they're going to get rid of that MiG-27K and the Su-24. A MiG-25 PD and a Block 15 did trade kills previously, so a lot of air engagements going on here. The Yak-141, I think, just hit the Eurofighter as it went out, so that Eurofighter going to take a little while to repair. But the Yak-141, I don't think it has enough like long range, like semi-active or fire and forget missiles to be able to match up to anything like the Rafale or the Eurofighter. But the Su-25T coming into the centre here, the Track Rapier FSA not going to be able to take that down quickly enough.
I mean, each shot that hits on that T does 2 damage, so it's not too particularly damaging considering the Su-25T has 20% ECM. And yeah, I mean, if Nande and Razman can get this push up into Foxtrot, they can really turn this game around, because looking up at Echo, Steel Balalaika doesn't actually have that much stuff. Not enough to push into Delta proper, I think.
Yeah, it seems that Razman and Nandemann have been given enough time now to sort of replenish their side's forces, and they could potentially go for quite a devastating push into Echo or into Foxtrot. And I'm surprised that a move hasn't been made towards Foxtrot, maybe even just a recon unit heading in that direction. They do have the Stormer heading up there now, but you need to have a unit like the Leopard recon tank to move forwards with maybe an AA. Try and scout out exactly what's in Foxtrot. As you get closer to the town, of course, are going to realise the Konkurs M's are there, but yeah.
They do have these Falcon-Jager up on the mountainside that have a decent view, but it's not too great. We do see this push coming in the bot side for Steel Balalaika, and actually, we talked about being very strong, but it looks like somehow Razman's Challenger 2 did go down, so actually Alexander and Serega have the potential to really regain a bit of ground.
Yeah, I think maybe what happened down there was Razman dropped the ball and allowed the BDV-90 to get into the forest. They might have side-shot it, or the BMP-685s just overwhelmed it, allowing themselves to get close enough to deal a lot of damage there. The Recce squad's going to die very quickly. OSAs are there to provide the anti-air, although one of them did just die. And it looks like what's going to happen is Gulf's going to become contested again. Razman might be able to fend off these BMP 685s with the Challenger Marksman for a little while, but I think he's more likely going to rely on the Commandos 90 as the VDV 90 make their way across the open. We do see some smoke going into Foxtrot. Looks like that's trying to stop the HGMs from firing onto the AA and fire support of Razman. Yak 141 taking on a Eurofighter. Neither plane is going to go down, I believe. Another Yak 141 following up. And that was too late to that party.
Well, we see this attack coming on in the middle sector with these Canadian Rifles 85 with the fire support coming in. They do need to definitely resupply this Crotal and this SAS squad, because that MO24P has free reign really, and if that can get all of its missiles off onto these infantry units, it's just going to wreck them like that.
Yeah, the Canadian Rifles going down to 8 men after one of the squads was completely wiped out. Stormer squad going down as well. And that Crotal only has 1 missile and is also out of line of sight. And that's allowed so many kills onto this infantry just from that one mistake there from Nandemann. And
well, this is that chance of getting back into the game.
Engulf.
It's almost like they're throwing it.
The BMP 685 has line of sight onto the HQ section and will take it out. And now there's a UAZ coming in for Serega as well, so they are going to push back to a +2 lead going forwards in this game.
No, I feel like this, you know, not properly preparing with AA, that's cost them the chances they had in this game, I think.
Yeah, well, what would have happened was if the Stormers had stayed alive, the Canadian Rifles had stayed alive, they would have easily overwhelmed that VDV-90 squad. And then what's behind it? Spetsnaz Crew and a couple squads of Igla Ends? Like, they would have easily been able to push up, but that one Mi-24P turning the tide completely there. And down in the bottom, allowing that BMP 685 to get line of sight onto the HQ section and take that out was a very poor mistake. And just a couple of mistakes in a row has completely changed what I thought would have been the outcome of this game. I mean, obviously it's looked like still Balalaika's had the initiative the whole game, is going to come out on top. But at that point, just then, it looked like a comeback, or a possible comeback for Nandemann, and they just seem to have just thrown it away. It seems it's so unfortunate because the +2, like I say, +2 back towards Steel Balalaika, that's going to continue counting, and they don't want that counting much longer because Steel Balalaika is getting dangerously close to 500 points right now.
Yeah, definitely far closer than Nandemann will be comfortable with, and they do have a CV brought into the Gulf, but you know, it really is a case of can they even win? If they take Gulf, what's going to happen? Oh, they've taken Gulf. The enemy still has 285 points over R4. And up on the top side, you know, it's been extremely static. We've not seen that many aggressive moves, just a few little skirmishes, really.
Yeah, it's literally just been ATGMs in the top side since both teams have just settled down and you know, bunkered down on either side. And I think mainly what Razman is relying on is getting a position into Gulf so that he can push onto Foxtrot. But since they made that push onto Foxtrot, all the reinforcements have arrived, and that's going to make it even harder now.
Well, again, that's the thing. You can take Gulf even, should I say, if you're Nandemann, but that won't win you the game. It's at the moment, it's gone from them having a really nice position to losing. But the Eurofighter Typhoon does kill a Yak 141, proving the Eurofighter is better.
Yeah, well, the Eurofighter Typhoon there only took 1 damage because the 141 missed all of its missiles. A Hornet going down in the top side.
That's expensive.
That was a pretty poor loss. In the middle,
well, the Yak's brother coming in.
Eurofighter Typhoon
Eurofighter
wins again.
again.
Yeah, my lord. It's just showing how much better, in my opinion, the Eurofighter is than a Yak 141. They just don't match up very well at all. Maybe if you bring in 2 Yak 141s, they can actually be useful, but then again, you're investing so much more. In this bottom side at Gulf, maybe things are going to turn back towards Nandemann this time round. He's bringing up some Stormers, and he's going to be taking on these Moskaya. There's only 1 squad of Moskaya left. Oh, Challenger Marksman does go down to the Su-24. Bit of miss micro going on there, as he did not turn off the radar. Maybe he had it on to deal with this helicopter, but all of this infantry now incredibly vulnerable to the helicopter. The lead that Steel Balalaika had is now nullified since the UAZ has been forced to retreat from Gulf. So things looking a bit more even again, but like you've said 100 times, this isn't going to win them the game. So we do see the engagement continuing. The T-80U there slowly taking out units. The Su-25T completely uncontested. Mi-24P on the bottom side of Gulf just took out one of the M36s, no problem. Obviously they're very cheap units. I'm not sure Nandemann is particularly concerned about 80 gems being wasted on those, but a Tornado F2 coming in. That's going to try and take out this Su-25T. It's going to take a lot of missiles though.
I think they might kill it because they haven't evac'd it. That's
yeah,
it's gonna get away.
Oh,
it goes down.
The cannon,
last burst from the cannon.
the cannon coming in from the Tornado F2 there, just to finish things off, and that was a dangerous deployment of that Su-24. Since that Tornado could have just come round for a gun run onto the Su-24 and finished that off, but either way, the Tornado was evac'd, and the Su-24 is free to move in and nearly kill another Challenger marksman.
Well, very nearly, but we did just see a GR7 go and one pass a T-80U. So the tank superiority is definitely for Razman in this bottom side. Up on the top side, we do see a few moves coming out from Nandemann, or Nande, should I say, specifically. All of these Stormers and his Recon Bradleys coming in to try and get some positioning on Echo, because at the moment, there's two ways they can come back, well, three ways I guess they can come back into this game. They can A, take Foxtrot, or B, contest Echo or take Echo.
Oh.
Obviously C is go all the way to India, but that's not
Su-27M just sniped Challenger 1 Mark III in Gulf, and as a reply, well, Nandemann just took out a T-80, I think it was T-80B possibly, and with the M3A2 Bradley near Echo. So both sides trading a tank there. I think Razman's playing with fire though, since that last Challenger is on 1 health and is going to bump into these 3 BMP 685s. After that Challenger 1 Mark III is dead, there is nothing left to defend the HQ section, and the Morskaya Pehota getting very close, and it looks like Razman might lose Gulf once again to Steel Balalaika. This is actually ridiculous.
Every time I keep thinking he's going to go and take Gulf, Steel Balalaika beats him again.
It's crazy. It's just going backwards and forwards. Both sides, like Nandemann and Steel Balalaika, have been pushing backwards and forwards, and the strange thing is, both sides have been taking complete control and then losing control.
They're losing it again, yeah.
Which just shows like how much effort is being put into controlling Gulf in this game, and it definitely is deciding the game at the moment, because by controlling it, Steel Balalaika do get a +2 lead, and forcing out this Challenger marksman and destroying the HQ section is once again devastating for Nandemann.
It really is, and at this point, you know, the game is basically over. It's quite sad to say, but you know, even with the contesting in Echo, we do have. Oh no, not even a contesting. I think they were just moving their CV for some reason in Echo. But either way, you know, Gulf in control of Steel Balalaika, Echo in control. That's a 2-point lead, and again, even taking one of the sectors isn't going to get you any points gained if you're Nandemann.
Yeah. So now, Serega and Alexander have a control over Gulf. It looks like Nande's going to try and go for a small push into Echo. He's got 40 Stormers heading over the mountains, and we'll have to wait and see if they can do some serious damage on the far side there. There isn't too much to stop these Stormers in their tracks, just a Mochistrelki squad and the Morskaya squad. And currently the Morskaya getting hit very hard by the fast-firing STRV 103Cs. That Ural squad, or that Ural truck, being blown up next to the Mochistrelki to panic them. Very nice micro there from Nande to take advantage of that. That's going to force the BRDM-2U out of Echo now, and just put Steel Balalaika down to a +1 income lead for now.
It is. On this bottom side, we see Razman having another go at taking golf, and you know what? I'm not going to say it one way or the other because every time I expect someone to actually take it, they end up losing it.
Well, he's got quite a nice setup here. He's got the Challenger 2 covered by the Marksman. He's got 4 squads of Stormers and the 2 squads of Canadian Rifles. I think his main concern is airstrikes right now. If SU-27M came in, just sniped that Marksman and then killed the Challenger 2, that would just be the worst thing to happen right now.
Well, there is one going, but it's up in the top side.
Yeah, so we do have the SU-27M coming in to probably kill off the Bradley up there, unless it turns away. But in the bottom side, Yak 141, I guess what they were expecting was maybe a bomber to come into Gulf. But at the moment, they're just going to cover off the SU-27M against this Eurofighter Typhoon. So let's see. The SU-27M and the Yak 141 did take down the Eurofighter Typhoon, but the SU-27M going down as well.
What's Nanda doing with the CV in Echo? Have a look at the top side of Echo. He's got his CV still in this Lynx AH7.
Is he going to try and go round
contest Juliet?
Yeah, and contest Juliet so that the reinforcements can't come in? This is so risky. But he has to do something.
Yeah, he has to. That's.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I mean, I like it, but it's crazy. I mean, if I were them, I might try a seed run to see if I could do that. But that's just.
Oh, look at these BTRDs coming down the road towards Bravo. They just killed off a helicopter. They went straight next to the mortar, did quite a lot of damage. The BTRDs trying to escape and get across to Bravo to harass the command vehicle there. We do see this Challenger 2 in Gulf going down with the rest of the forces, and now Gulf completely under control once again of ML Alexander and Serega.
Well, they told him he could put a CV in Juliet, and he did it. The absolute madman. Yeah, that's confusing to me. I understand that when you're this far behind, you have to make that kind of miracle play, but you know, it's
could have just landed it in Echo, mate. Like that would have given you a lead. Like that would have given the lead.
He wouldn't have caught up. To be fair, he wouldn't have caught up in time. There was only about 8 minutes. But at the same time,
I guess the only reason they would have had a lead is because Serega's busy messing around with his UAZ placement in Gulf. But
that's true. That's
true. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Nandemann is still doing a lot of damage though.
Look at Bravo. Look at Bravo.
Yeah, this
PTR
did get away from the Leopard command tank that was firing on it, and now the Bravo command vehicle gonna go down.
Oh, this is definitely the game in the coffin if it was before.
A +3 lead going to steal Balalaika. Yeah, it's over. It's been
over for a while, I think, but it's definitely over
now. Well, I think you know, Nandemann is making quite a lot of ground in this top side. To be honest, he's pushed Still Balalaika completely out of Echo and was putting pressure on Juliet. I mean, it was pretty unfortunate that Lynx actually got shot down by the book, because if that book wasn't there, that Lynx might have got away with that landing, and cutting off the reinforcements from Juliet would have allowed Nandemann to make a full-blown push into that sector, which could have turned the game around. There's not much time left on the clock though, 5 minutes. He would have had to make a lot of difference in other sectors as well for that to have made a difference. But I mean, I commend them for trying all the way to the end.
I have to say,
and
they definitely fought it tooth and nail.
Yeah, they've just made some decent plays at the end. They made some mistakes in the middle of the game that I think did cost them the game entirely. But you know, at least they're going down fighting.
They definitely are, and Yak 141 comes from a bit of a victory pass over onto that. It was a
Tornado F2.
Tornado F2, yeah. The
last of the Stormers.
The MPT come in, yeah, clear up with these Motorstrike in VDV.
Yeah, and now a MiG-27K gonna pick off that STRV 103C. Just to finish things off. Lynx AH7 finally landing in Echo. Just to delay things a little bit longer. We do see now that there is a neutral points income. Well, once the HQ section decides to stop moving about. And that is going to stop Steel Balalaika at 485 points over Nandemann's 4.
Just a small hurdle to cover in these last 4 minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, over 100 times more points for Steel Balalaika right now. A bomber coming in. Let's see if this can do any damage. Maybe they are going for the snipe onto Foxtrot. If they can pick the right building complex, then maybe they can get themselves a +2 lead.
Well, I mean, they're probably going to lose the CV Echo to this M. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's very true. The SU-24M did come in with a very large bombing strike onto Echo, and the F111C did not get the bombs onto the command infantry in Foxtrot. They simply switched buildings, and that was that. So, the +1 slowly ticking towards victory for Steel Balalaika in this first game of this best of 5. A Challenger 1 Mark III going down to the MiG-27K, just over Golf. Challenger marksman trying to reply the kill, but no chance whatsoever. Did not have enough time on target. And the Afghanskis coming out of the woods at Golf to destroy some Canadian rifles very, very quickly. A couple of Kahoos coming in. I think they were trying to target this T-72BU, but no chance, as it does reverse into Golf. And with the +2 income lead, they are going to hit the 500 points, and Steel Balalaika are going to win the first game of the best of 5 in this final in 37 minutes and 19 seconds. So, what did you make of that, Val?
Honestly, the kills and deaths look closer than the game actually was, and that sounds a little mean, but I think it's true. Alexander and Serica, they just had the initiative the entire game. They cut off the very fast push into Foxtrot at the very start in Delta, which honestly, I think from the get-go gave them such a massive advantage, because not only did they trade very well with all those hotels and stuff like that, they also completely nullified the entire game plan of Nandemann, which was the 2-pointer push. And when you go into a game like that, especially if it's like a really important game, when you go into a game and your plan completely falls around you and just falls apart, then everything just gets worse and worse. And Steel Balalaika continuously put up the pressure. They had great plays with their planes, which allowed them to retake sectors they might not have been able to without their anti-tank support from the Su-25T and the MiG-27Ks and the Su-27M as well. And kudos to Nandemann. They did some interesting things this game. They tried again for that 2-pointer, and Nande even throwing his CV into the Juliet sector, but just unfortunately for them, it just couldn't get them a victory. And individually, I thought they played reasonably well. They pushed back and forth very well, but not enough to give them any kind of real lead.
Yeah, so I think the choice of the units at the start from Alexander with those Gornostrelki was like almost the perfect counter to Nandemann's deck. Like those Gornostrelkis being able to hold off infantry for quite a while, and also the HGMs just being able to snipe so many of the weaker units that Nandemann had, just gave them like you said, some serious initiative at the start there that really set them up for the rest of that game.